You don't feel that enough people talk about how Robyn didn't let the other mothers parent her children? I will discuss it right now. So I will talk about it. We saw it all the time. Let's talk about right from the beginning. Cody was going down there on weekends to give her one of the 4th days because she needed it. Those are her words. She needed it. Her kids needed it. When they moved up, did she move into the big house? No, she did not, because she thought it was inappropriate for a fiance to live in the main house. So she instead had him come to her apartment, her little townhouse or whatever you call it, 1 day out of 4 and spend the night even though they were unmarried. So I don't buy that she didn't move in because it was inappropriate. She didn't move in because she didn't want to have to share a house with other women. She would have had to share a kitchen with someone. So she right off the bat used the fact that they were just engaged as an excuse. Okay. And I think part of that was, I don't know that she really approved of the kids right off the bat. I think it was when they went to Wyoming, which was the first or I think the 2nd season. And they were all letting the kids play. And she was like, oh, no, don't climb up there. Oh, don't do this. Oh, don't do that. Right off the bat, it was clear. And the older teenagers and the parents were like, we let the kids experiment and do things and do a little bit dangerous things so they can learn how to take care of themselves. And Robyn was not for that. So she's already living separate from them, using an excuse that absolutely does not track, because it was wildly inappropriate for a married man to spend the night at his fiance's house 1 out of 4 nights when he could have, by the time she moved, she was like a block away. He could have walked home. And I'm not judging that. I'm judging that off of I think you're a bad person if you live with your fiance. I'm judging that off of the rules that they told us about what was appropriate. That was inappropriate according to their own rules, but they overlooked it because it was convenient. But she didn't want to live in the house because that was inappropriate. And it was like, no, ma'am, that is not what was inappropriate. And then we saw this amplified. She didn't like when she kept her kids separate, but we really started to see it when there was problems with the kids. So things like if the kids, it was always bullying the kids if they teased them or did that. But a lot of the behaviors that I saw seemed to me like typical things that kids would do with each other when they saw siblings. They would, roughhouse or tease or things like that. But it was never appropriate. And she would drag those kids. She dragged Peyton by saying that he bullied Dayton, but now they're friends. And I was like, hold on. Whether that's true or not is separate from whether or not you say that about someone who you claim is your child on national TV, calling them a bully. To me, that's like the kind of thing that can deeply, deeply affect you. And I kind of think it did. I think it kind of did affect him. Later on in later seasons, when we saw, I think it was Solomon, going to hit one of the girls, and one of the older boys, I think Garrison, but you can correct me if I'm wrong because I'm not convinced, told him no, we don't do that. Oh my gosh, Robyn freaked out. We couldn't, you do not parent the kids. You don't parent the kids. Logan/dad over there parented the kids. Aspen parented the kids. All of the older teenagers raised the younger kids. That's how it had always been. But if Garrison dares to tell a child, don't hit, which is age appropriate, nothing's wrong. That's all young kids do that. They test boundaries. I'm not slamming Solomon for this, but it was appropriate for Garrison to say, no, we don't hit. We don't do that. And they flipped out over him. Another example of Robyn having you can't, we're the chosen family. You guys can't have any sort of parenting relationship with us, but I'm then going to turn around and complain that the kids aren't close, that the kids don't know each other, that they don't have any sort of bond. And it's yeah, because you kept them apart. More recently, we hear this, I don't talk about stuff from the Patreon a lot, but Gwen said that Robyn didn't really want her around her kids. They didn't think that she was safe. And we've seen that a lot with they can't go here. Solomon can't go with Mary to travel, which I was a weird thing. That was kind of weird to begin with. But it was sort of this, people kept making these overtures to create a closer relationship. And she was always no. Mary couldn't come over to see the kids during COVID, even though she followed all the rules because it wouldn't be appropriate. She's always constantly, there's all these examples across all 18 seasons of them creating distance between the other family and her children, and her family, her children specifically. So there you go. And I'll talk about it again if you need more.